Welcome to Mighty Married Moms. Join us at our kitchen table twice a week as the Mighty Married Moms, Debbie, Linda, Wendy, invite spectacular guests to weigh in on staying sexy, vibrant, and healthy, building marriages with soul-satisfying connection, raising happy, healthy, successful kids. Conversations with Mighty Married Moms will bring you closer to the life you really want. Episode 48. Hi, welcome back to Mighty Married Moms. Today we're going to talk about the conversation that we just had with Nicole Zangara, the author of Surviving Female Friendships. And
the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah. That's right.
Sometimes surviving is really what it feels like, right?
Sometimes it does. And what is about that? Why does it feel like it's surviving sometimes?
I don't know. We were just talking about how you just feel like you want to belong, you want to be part of the group, and we all know growing up, women are amazing, but I always joke around and say women as a group can be kind of vicious.
Yeah.
I mean, really, there's the both really, really amazing and wonderful, and really vicious at the same time.
The good, the bad,
the bad,
and the ugly. Right? Yeah, I think that Nicole characterizes it really well. I mean, some of my most painful recollections of, if you look back over time, some of the most painful things have to do with a rending or a ripping of a friendship with a woman that I, or a girl that I thought I was close to, and I feel like left in the dust. Mm-hmm. It's just an awful feeling.
Yeah.
And, it's.
Or somebody this happened to my husband and me. There was a couple that we were friendly with. This was a number of years ago, and something happened. We were in a bind, and we just, you never ask for money, right? And so we asked if they'd just cover something for us for a couple of days, and we honestly didn't hear back from them again after that.
Oh, gosh.
Sort of like, okay, so clearly we weren't as good friends as we thought we were.
Right, yeah. Right.
So
right.
it's just, some of these things are just kind of weird.
Yeah, they are kind of weird. And one of the things I know that we were talking about with Nicole was how when something goes wrong in a relationship, I go, oh, something I did, something I said, something I didn't say, something I should have said, something, that it's all about me. And, where does that come from, that kind of, that the world revolves around me and my words or lack of words? I think it's because I was raised the youngest. I'm sure that that's part of it. But nonetheless, I don't know that I'm alone in that, that it feels like, I need to be good enough and involved enough. And it's a strong woman that can say, she's going through her own stuff. I don't know what it is, and I hope that we can find a way to bridge it. But if we can't, it's okay. I am not at that point yet myself.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, it's interesting as I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking, as a family coach, I'm thinking in terms of stages of life. And the kinds of friendships we have as young children. I remember playing with the girls across the street, and we would go, they were actually, I don't remember what you'd even call it, a right-of-way is what we called it, I don't know what it is, but they had a brook running through their backyard, and we would just spend hours in the, playing in the brook and catching frogs and doing cowboys and Indians, and then so, you get a little bit older, and that's when you start to talk more, I think. You're starting to talk, and you're starting to share experiences, and you see little girls putting their hands on their hips. Well, you said such and such, and I didn't say that, and you're being mean to me, and, you get into all of those things, and then as they get into being teenagers, girls start to do a lot of the gossiping and the talking behind their kids' backs, and junior high can be so nasty.
Oh, my goodness,
It can be so nasty. I've known a couple of kids in junior high who've just been, they've basically failed junior high. Not failed academically, but it didn't work for them because and they have schools. It is a tough time. I would never go back to junior high if you paid me.
I know, me either.
It was awful.
My gosh.
Awful watching your kids go through it too.
It is
right?
awful watching your kids go through it. And then they get to be teenagers, and that's when I think they start, the possibility of having lifelong friendships really comes up. And for instance, I'm still really good friends with. We don't talk that much, but if I were on the rare occasions when I'm in the same room with 3 of my friends with whom I grew up, we can sit and talk for hours.
Yeah.
I mean, we see each other once a year, and we sit and talk for hours.
Yep.
That once a year,
Yep.
and nothing's changed. But the real difference, going through life stages here in friendships, the real difference for me was college, because I'm living, breathing, working, thinking, growing, considering with these other women that were living in the dorm with me, and those are the people that I know that I can call any moment at
3 o'clock in the morning.
3 o'clock in the morning when the car blows up.
Yeah.
Those are the women I would call, the women I lived with.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. Yeah, you really went through some stuff with them, and
Yeah.
years later, it's still making an impact. That's or they're making an impact on your life.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never have that experience again.
No,
Really.
And then then we get married, right? We'll keep going through the life stages here. I'm going to write a book about this. Then you get married, and you end up having kids who have friends. So you hang out with your kids' friends'
Parents.
moms.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even though they're not the people you would necessarily choose to be your friends.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then once they start doing their own thing and they don't need you to be there at play dates with them anymore, then what do? Then you got to find your own friends.
You got to find your own friends again. Yeah.
And those friends that I've developed as an adult are just nothing like the friends I had in college, because I'm not living, eating, breathing, with you guys.
Right.
So it's just not.
Yeah. No, that's a really interesting point that you make, that there is something about if for those of us that went to college and lived in a dorm life, those cemented relationships. I'll tell you one really funny story about college. I was dear friends with my freshman year roommate, and she was somebody that had delayed going to college until she was, typically 17 or 18 you start as a freshman. She didn't start until she was 19 or 20, something. She delayed a year or two. Mm-hmm. And so by the time I was a freshman and she was already a sophomore or a junior, she was that much older than I was, a lot, like 3 or 4 years older than me. And she was sweet and lovable and giggled so easily. She was just kind of like a very lighthearted, interesting young lady. We just laughed, and she'd say, "Could you put the dictionary away?" Because I would study the dictionary every night. That's embarrassing, but there you go. I'd like to
nerd
get
after my
nerd, right? I wanted to understand all the words and define them, but
I read the encyclopedia.
Yeah, see, there you go. So she'd be like, "Would you put that away?" So shut the light off, kind of thing. So anyway, we went we were just really close and really tight. We went to her house in, I won't tell you the town, but we went to her house. She said, "Want to come home with me for the weekend?" So I said, "Sure." So this lighthearted, affable, sweet girl, we opened the door of her front door, and she says, "Bah! Where's this? Where is that?" And her face changed, and her demeanor changed, and her attitude, and I was like, "Who are you?
Wow.
Where's my friend?"
Wow.
It was the weirdest thing. And so I said, 12 hours in or 15 hours into this visit, I was like, "Could we talk about this? You're not anything like you are at school. Like, what's going on?" She says, "This is who I am at home. This is the real me." I said, "Really? This is the real you?"
Oh,
I said,
wow.
"Because you're very different." So she says, "Well, I suppose I am being real when I'm with you, but when I'm home, I can be absolutely myself." I said, "Is there a way to kind of meet in the middle and just like be a little bit moody at school and then be a little bit pleasant at home?" But it was like the strangest thing. So it was just a very interesting thing, and we maintained a friendship for years. She and I both went to nursing school and stuff, and we laugh about those moments of like, who was that and where did that come from? But yeah, so I bonded with one person, but she was actually somebody else in her real life, so it was interesting. But
yeah, I just wanted to say, because I didn't want to interrupt your story, but I went through my dictionary phase too. So, I did.
There you go.
This is what women do, right? Oh, me too.
Yeah,
I did that too.
That's right.
Oh, we're bonded,
right.
right?
Yeah, I got the encyclopedia. What can I say?
yeah. There's a great book by a woman named You Just Don't Understand, I think,
Yes.
by Deborah Tannen.
Yes, I love that book.
And she talks about the differences between how women talk to one another and how they connect and how men talk to. So the thing that I always remember from her work is that just what you just did. I said that I read the dictionary, I was a nerd, and said, "Me too."
Yes.
Whereas if men are having a conversation, and I said they'll one up, or they will distinguish themselves. Well, I didn't read the dictionary. I read an encyclopedia. I didn't do that. I did this. So they try to distinguish themselves, whereas women are always looking for connection and how can we be on the same side of life.
Yes.
Whereas men try to be kind of, I don't know about oppositional, but they try to be, I'm my own man. I'm competitive. I'm
That's
my own
what
man.
her book is
But
about.
we try to find ways. And when we're in the work, well, at least in my experience, when I'm in the workplace, that's been hard because when you're in the workplace, you are trying to distinguish yourself. And so we might not be so chatty, like, "Oh, I read the dictionary too." You might try to find a way to adopt some sort of a worky persona of some sort. So so it kind of flies in the face of our natural tendencies of connecting with other women. That's an interesting one.
Yeah. The other thing in terms of differences between men and women, and we touched on it a little bit in our conversation with Nicole, is that men are constantly trying to solve problems when they're together, and that's, if for the longest time my husband and I would have to talk, I would make a statement and then he'd try to solve it, and now he got really good really soon, and he would basically say, so do you want me to
weigh in on this?
Help you solve the problem, or do you just want me to say, oh, gee, that's too bad? And most of the time I'd stop and think, and I'd say, I just want you to say, oh, gee, that's too bad.
Yeah.
And he'd say, oh, gee, that's too bad. Let me know when you're ready to have a solving problem.
Yeah, right, because I'm ready. I've got a couple of solutions.
Yeah,
no, that's an interesting
Whereas
point.
women just want empathy. They just want somebody, and I think you're right, connection.
You're right.
We just want somebody to say, me too, I know exactly how you feel.
The 6 words from that
Yes, I
conference
love that.
that
Tell us again.
So I went to a conference last summer, a weekend on women's accountability, kind of just talking about how the importance of relationships, married ones, friendship ones, whatever. But one of the things that the facilitator talked about was the lost art, the lost opportunity that women have had over generations to gather. And he painted a wonderful picture of other cultures, people going down to the river with their water bowls on their head, and women in community and helping one another and talking with one another and laughing with one another, and how our lives can get so busy that we don't do that. So he talks about, do you remember Ethel and Lucy sitting at the kitchen table having a cup of coffee and smoking a cigarette or whatever, and basically the conversation is 6 words, somebody pouring their heart out, and the other person just using 6 words. I know. That's hard. I understand.
Yeah, that's huge.
6 words, that's it.
And
it really made so much sense to me in the last, so I really try to adopt that and not try to jump in with advice or, oh yeah, me too, and take the conversation away from somebody. I really do try to be conscious of just listening and saying, oh, that's hard. I know. So it's a really nice way to foster a relationship with a woman.
Absolutely.
Or anyone, actually, and that's one of the things that I tell parents, in terms of dealing with their kids. Just don't tell them what to do, because they don't want to know. They just want you to say, wow, that's really hard.
That's the connection piece that you talk
the
about.
connection piece, absolutely.
Yeah.
Connect. And,
So control.
So we're talking about female friendships, but I think we can extrapolate the basic ideas that create great female friendships into great relationships of all sorts.
Absolutely.
Of all sorts. Although there are differences, obviously, if it's 2 women or 2 girls as opposed to 2 men or a man and a woman or whatever it might be.
Yeah. And it translates into the workplace, too. I mean, I took a seminar once. They did a really great job of sort of the downside of too much connecting, and never getting to the result. And they were doing an example between 2 women who meet and are trying to promote a product or whatever. And it was like, oh, where'd you go to school? Oh, I did this. I love your dress. $15. I got it on sale. And they just went on and on and on. And then sort of avoided the getting to the point part too. So it's kind of an interesting translating it into the workplace,
Right. So we do have to adopt a different stance or a different.
But good in as far as the workplace goes now, and the whole everything is changing, and we've got social media and all that. Connection is really the key, and connecting with your clients, your customers, whatever it is. So I think we have those strong skills, just sort of innately coming into the business world, bringing them in there and incorporating that has been very positive, I think.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very positive.
I loved your anecdote too about your kids playing tag. When Linda has these 2 boys and a bunch of kids at under age 10 or something like that, a bunch of girls, boys were all playing tag, and when she and her husband were cleaning up after the tag game that night, she found notes with the notes between the girls going, I can't believe that you would hide so hard from me, and you didn't protect me from the other person finding me. And Linda was like, oh, this is a different world. I don't find notes between my sons and their friends, but they were
raising boys. So it was fascinating. Fascinating the notes back and forth. And
the dynamic of that connection and the relationship,
there were no notes written from any boys. They didn't feel the need to do that. They weren't worried that one friend was hiding in a different spot. They didn't take it personally. Why weren't you hiding with me? You were over there. You're mad at me. Why are you mad at me? And it was really fascinating.
Such a girl relationship
such a girl thing. And I could say that as the parent of 2 boys and a girl, and I saw all that stuff, and I could totally see her at some point, maybe having written those notes.
Yeah.
And the boys would be like, what?
What are you talking about? Yeah, right, yeah, I know.
Just play the darn game.
Right,
exactly.
And therein lies some of the excitement that it is when you choose to be in a relationship with a man or somebody of the opposite gender. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, we just come at life from such different places. Yeah.
Yeah, we wouldn't all be the same, would we?
No, and I depend on my female friends to help counterbalance that energy, as it were.
One thing that you just brought up briefly, and we talked with Nicole a little bit too, was the whole aspect of social media and women and girls using social media. And there are pros and cons to social. I wrote a book called Social Media Fascination. You can go check it out on Amazon. And it's about how to teach our kids to use social media well.
Responsibly.
And it's based on 6 C's. I'm not going to go into all of them right now, but one of them is connection.
Yeah.
And another one is community. So the whole point is we can use social media well to connect with other people in community and collaborate. That's another C. Collaborate and grow together. And that's really, really important.
Yeah.
On the other hand, as Nicole was also pointing out, bullying can become, it's much easier with social media, and so we have to be careful. And my philosophy on it is just, you teach kids to walk across the street safely. You teach kids how to have relationships safely, whether that's virtual or online. And once they're old enough to get their own social media accounts, you just teach them how to do it well.
Right.
And Nicole also brought out modeling and how important it is to model good relationships for our kids.
So that they don't get into, hopefully, the mean girl thing or the bullying thing. And that was really key. How can we pass it on in a healthy way? But of course, we have to start with some sort of modicum of health ourselves.
Yes.
So that helps.
Yeah.
Speaking of community, we do have a Facebook page for Mighty Married Moms. It's called Mighty Married Moms Community, and it would be something that knock on the door and we'll let you in. We were monitoring people coming in that have a desire to be in the community with us and raise a cup of tea and sit at the kitchen table with us, and let's have an ongoing dialogue and conversation with all these different guests that we have coming in.
So we want to have community, and that
absolutely.
And I don't think we'll keep the men out at this point.
No,
we would be happy to have the male energy.
Yeah, totally.
If you have something to say to contribute. But totally. we're 3 married moms, and that's who we are. But it may not necessarily be who you are. But if you're getting something out of these podcasts and these shows, we definitely want to have you in our community with us.
Totally.
For sure.
Yeah, there's lots to take away, even if you're not a mighty married mom. We're all mighty.
We're all mighty.
That's
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts? I guess the last thing that I just wanted to talk about was just the communication aspect. And Nicole mentioned that.
Yeah, to just be honest and just to really communicate if something's off. I really like the way she framed that.
Yeah.
As to say, I'm feeling like things are off. I'm feeling you're really important to me, and I'm feeling kind of adrift here. Can we talk about this? As opposed to saying you never call, you never text. What's wrong with you? If you really want to value the friendship and to really move it along a continuum, to really just kind of take ownership of what you're experiencing. I thought that was really helpful.
It was.
It's again really good advice across the board. But just hearing that from her stance as a social worker and somebody who's really kind of taking a look at female friendships, I thought that was really helpful.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Good.
Well, thank you for being here with us for another episode of Mighty Married Moms. Please find us on iTunes, and we would love to have you subscribe and share this with your friends and family. The more the merrier. We would like to build a big community. So hopefully we'll be able to see you in our Facebook community, and we'll see you online. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Mighty Married Moms. Tune in twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays to meet fascinating and inspiring guests who will help you create the life you've always wanted.
You can find these episodes and special gifts just for you at mightymarriedmoms.com, as well as a link to our Facebook community,
where we continue the conversation around the kitchen table. Please also help share the love by leaving a review on iTunes. We'll see you next time.